All right, everybody, if you tuned into this, that means you're trying to figure out how to do rear brakes on a 2009 to 2016 Mercedes-Benz E350. Now let me show you how. Here's the part number that we're putting on it today. This is some Duralast gold stuff. Not really the best to be using, but if you're not just gonna go out here and like really beat the heck out of it, you don't need nothing good. Couldn't get OEM if you want. But anyway, underneath here, there's a jacking point. You put your jack underneath there and you jack it up. You can even use your OEM jack if you wanted to. Which these go down like that, and then they push like this and they start to rise up like this. They're goofy type jacks, but you can use these for this job, no problem. And then 17 millimeter is what you're going to want to use to get your bolts out of there, or you can use your OEM one from Mercedes. No problem with that. Right down with your foot. You can do it just like that, but I have the tools to do it. Just showing you it's not a hard thing to do to get to that step. Same way with jacking that. I already have the jack there. Let me show you over the other side. Right in here, you can put the OEM jack right in that slit, or you can put a jack over this or a lift. Whatever you want to do. I'm gonna jack it up. And as far as we need it. And then we're gonna 17. These are a little rusted up. All right, come in here and just boom that out that way, and that's done there. Now all you gotta do is come back here, and there is a plug inside this rubber boot right here. You want to do that, and then there's another one right here. Okay, and then you have yourself a 7 millimeter Allen head. 7 mil. And what that simply does, guys, is get it right inside of there. Instead of having bolts that use Allen heads, it goes right in there like that. And then just simply go like that. And then you repeat at the bottom, right there. And you just keep doing that a little bit. Okay, before we take the pins the rest of the way out, we have to take off our sensor that lets you know when your brake pads are wore. So that's simply just right here, and that's an 8 millimeter. I accidentally loosened that up the whole way before I went to take this off, so a little bit harder. But make sure you do that before you take everything off. I forgot all about the sensor. To use that just unplugs from there like that. I'm pretty sure you guys could see all that. Hopefully that just unplugs from there. Simply just move this one out. Put that there. As you can tell, we were very close, guys. Not sure if that was blurring the whole time, might have been, but really close to wearing the brake pads out and the rotor. But the sensor left us no, way above time. So like I said, that just goes in there like that. As you can see, we were about to start grinding into the sensor. Very close. Very close to grinding into the sensor. And our kit comes with a sensor. Older vehicles, and you don't need no specialty tools. All you need to do is just literally put yourself a C-clamp right there and gently just push that back in there. And just to make sure you don't get too flat, I should have showed you guys this, because some of you are just doing this for your first time. Put your old brake in there. And you just come in there and you see, I knew exactly where to stop at. I was already there, but that'll keep you from pushing it back in too far. You see the circle around it now where it pushed it in there. So the sensor was able to tell us right in time that it was going bad. Pins here. You're going to want to use a little grease for these. A little brake grease. As you can tell here, it's just some brake lube. What you want to do with this stuff, guys, is just put some on this. Just so when you do this job in the future, you don't have to worry about anything really being stuck, and it helps keep those guiding. They just get stuck and it doesn't guide back and forth. These things are just, rotors are like float, they just float in there. So if they can't float freely, you'll get a brake stick up on you. Premature one side before the other. This helps keep that from happening. Also get that when you have a brake that's caliber seasoned up. Now you might want to wear stuff to protect your hands. That'd be a smart thing. Right there. And just, you gotta see, it just guides right in there. Just two little things. You can actually put a little bit of this grease right here, the tip there. A little bit right there at the tip. And that just keeps that from seizing up. Makes it ride a lot better. Do the same with the others. Just a little bit there at the contact points. A little bit of that stuff will go a long way. These are aftermarket, so you're gonna probably have to squeeze these a little bit. Probably to fit in there. Aftermarket's always a little bit crappier. It's about $30 cheaper. These back rotors are going to eventually need replaced, so I went with cheaper brakes. If you're going to replace the rotor and everything, I would just go with OEM, personally. That's what I would do. Now here's your rear brake, and then here's your sensor. Like I said, you're probably going to have to smash these in a little bit because they're aftermarket. Then here's your sensor. That sensor will go right in, down in between this brake, and it's actually a really good design. So as soon as this thing starts to hit, it goes, hey, you got calibers that are about to get ruined because your brakes are gone. So I mean, these are really good, actually. Pretty idiot proof, so to speak. And even for people like me that like to keep their vehicles really maintained, these are really nice. And that just goes in between the hole here, and then you guys can see these go in here. And again, this looks like this needs pushed in a little bit. There. I had to push it in a little bit, and you see they actually designed that to where it can't slip out. A lot of cars, it's a pain because this wants to keep falling as you're trying to slide it in. Very well designed, these cars are. And this literally just goes in there like that. And then these pins, you just push them in and try to guide them in one by one. Best way to do it is just one by one here, guys. Come in, and this one I have lined up. Make sure you don't cross thread them. If it doesn't go in easy, you're not doing it right. So you're gonna kind of hear it click the way it did. You basically hear that thud, the metal. You basically know that it's in there. But if it doesn't spin freely by hand, do not use a ratchet. That's simple as could be. Don't use a ratchet. Some of you probably already know a lot of this much of mechanical skills, or else you're probably not going to try to tackle this job. But you might not, and you want to know some information. So that's what I'm trying to do. Save some people a little bit of money here. Now you just tighten them pretty tight. You don't have to get crazy with it. Like, that's really tight. So now I have this sensor here. Hopefully you guys can see all this stuff. And then I have the sensor here, connector, and this literally just goes straight in, plugs straight in. That's all it does. And then this goes right back into there, but we're going to use a little bit of this grease. It's not anti-seize, but it works like pretty much like that. Just on the back of it. Instead of putting anti-seize on, I'm going to use just a little bit of that. Just so we don't have to worry about that. Again, that's an 8mm. And the dowel pins that go in to hold the caliber on, they are 7mm. That's it, just a little snug. Don't get too crazy with that. It's a small bolt. And we have our other ones snugged up. And then we got our one last thing, is this. Now this needs to go on the back side of both of these, like this right here. If this is not on the back side of this, and then it's on wrong. Okay, if you got them like one in the inside of this and one on the outside, you didn't do it right. So, kind of a pain. Gonna put it in there like that. Push the other one kind of forwards at the same time. And then you need like a straight screwdriver. Sometimes you need two of these. I usually use a pair of pliers just to kind of hold it a little bit. So I can push that in there. Why? See, you push that over. And now these go back in. You actually see it there. I don't know if you guys probably can't see that, but these will groove in.
All right, these will groove into the back. See how there's actually a lip back in there. So if you don't have them behind the lip, they're not in right. Have to be in the front and then in behind the lip. As you can see, this Duralast kit works just as good as OEM. There's the wire that runs the sensor Plugs right in there. Perfect as could be. Yeah. Like I said though, these are grooved up a little bit. All these German rotors do this with their original brakes. They're a hard material. So when you do this job, typically change the rotor with it. But you don't have to. If you want to get a set of these cheap pads, throw in there. This rotor will last you a little while, quite a while longer. It was still stopping great for me, so, you know.
Don't forget your plugs. So when you get done getting your dowel pins, you hold your caliper on, put your plugs back in there so they don't get rust in them.
Because these wheels are heavy, but they do have a lip on them, guys, where they sit like that. Again, if you can't do it by hand, definitely don't be trying to do it with a gun. Any air gun, impact of any sort. Make sure you can go, you know. See, this one don't want to go right away. Someone might have threaded that a bit weird, but it looks good. But again, there, see?
All right, let's sit it on the ground here and let's go grab the torque wrench. This at 130 Newton meters would be the torque spec, or that would be 95.8, which I would just do 96 foot-pounds of torque. So, yep.